category portal launch. This is going to be an absolute game changer for the industry. I am Mayfloor, and I want to give a quick preview of what's coming your way in the next hour. First up, Ini, our co founder, will be setting the scene. He'll give you the inside scoop of PropTech Buzz and what we're launching today. Then we'll have our incredible panel of leaders who are ready to dive deep into the future of property maintenance operations. Then comes the real show. We've got live demonstrations from three incredible innovators leading the charge: FixGrid, OnCall Pro, and Lesson. These companies are solving the biggest headaches property managers face every single day. From preventive maintenance workflows to emergency dispatch coordination to vendor management, they're the ones creating smarter systems that actually saves time, money, and keep properties running flawlessly. This is where the magic happens, and you're here to witness it firsthand. All right, let's dive right in. Ini, take it away.
Thank you so much, May. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the launch of our property maintenance platforms category launch and PropTech Buzz. This is a time we've been waiting for with bated breath for the past few weeks, and I'm pleased to mention that we have about 170 LinkedIn Live registrations for today's launch. So it's interesting how many operators, managers are looking to optimize their property portfolios for NOI, and what a wonderful build up this has turned out to be. Today, we are showcasing prominent property maintenance technology solutions that help you keep your residents happy while increasing NOI. And we have a unique mix today, which is a great opportunity for these competitors and ecosystem players to come together in an act of healthy cooperation to create awareness, accelerate innovation of this sector. And kudos to all of you who have run a spirited campaign leading up to this day. Quite excited to kickstart the proceedings today. And before that, we'd like to take a few minutes to introduce what PropTech Buzz is all about. Real estate is one of the largest industries in the world, worth over 400 trillion globally, $400 trillion globally. Yet PropTech, the digital layer transforming this industry, is still incredibly early relative to its potential. And that gap is widening. Is wider than ever, right? In property maintenance, the single largest controllable operating cost in the building, and still in far too many portfolios, they still run on phone calls, WhatsApp threads, paper receipts. Thousands of innovative products are being built across property management, construction, infrastructure, leasing, energy, operations, and resident experience. But most buyers still struggle to discover the right solutions efficiently. That's the problem we are solving at PropTech Buzz. We are building the world's leading B2B ecosystem for real estate innovation, where professionals can discover products, connect with industry peers, and engage in discussions, attend events, hire talent, learn, and grow together. So we are solving this in a unique way. PropTech Buzz is building the world's first true super app for global real estate innovation. We combine multiple ecosystems into one connected platform. So an Amazon-like marketplace for global PropTech solutions, a Reddit-style community where real estate professionals can engage and collaborate, an Angel List-like ecosystem connecting startups and investors, a Cvent-style events infrastructure for global industry events, a Business Insider-style PropTech media network, a LinkedIn-style recruiting layer for real estate talent, and an education ecosystem for industry learning and upskilling. Our goal is simple: to become the operating system for the global PropTech ecosystem. We are globally number one for PropTech news, and our readership has grown and widened over the last few months, just to show that we stay true to our goals, stay true to the course. And everything we are building with love, because you can't build something impactful without putting your heart and soul into it. That's why we are putting every effort to building this ecosystem to fill that missing gap to improve PropTech adoption. Everything we've built has been designed to make discovering and engaging with real estate innovation easier and more interactive. So PropTech Buzz is available on web and mobile. You can scan the QR codes on the screen at the moment to get it on App Store or Play Store. It's really important because if it's on your phone, you can easily respond to messages, you can easily check products. Everything is just at your fingertips. So we are organizing the fragmented global PropTech offerings. Real estate, I already mentioned before, is the biggest asset class, but technology adoption in real estate as PropTech is just less than 1% of that. So one of the big reasons why this is because of a lack of awareness. And this is our mission to grow technology awareness. One of the biggest challenges in PropTech today is fragmentation, just like I said. There are incredible products solving important operational problems, but buyers often struggle to discover them, compare them, understand where they fit, and engage directly with the teams behind them. That's why we are organizing this industry category by category, creating dedicated ecosystems around major operational workflows in real estate. And property maintenance is exactly the kind of category that needs this. The products in it look similar from the outside. They all promise fewer work orders slipping through the cracks, but underneath, they solve very different problems. Some coordinate outside vendors, some run your in house team, some supply the labors themselves. A buyer can't tell that from just the websites. But there are more than 200 plus categories that will be launching before the end of the year. One of the upcoming categories is Flex Space, which will be launching next week as well, which shows how far PropTech has come in innovation because these are products that are creatively revolutionizing how storage spaces are managed and monetized. But more to come on that next week. For today, though, we are launching On-Call Pro, a single platform for property managers and HOA boards to route work to their vendors and track it through invoice. FixGrid, a maintenance system of record built specifically for multifamily, keeping every job, assets, and inspection tied to the units. And Lesson, software plus a national vendor network, so operators can coordinate the work and hand it over entirely. So these three companies, three genuinely different approaches, but the same problem, which is exactly what makes this panel so innovative. One of the interesting things that's part of this launch is the AMA that's currently live. So on the portal right now, if you go to proptech.com and then you go to the property maintenance portal, you see that there's an AMA. So we would like you, that AMA is still on at the moment. So we'd like you to send in your questions, anything that you want any of our speakers to answer. You can send it there, or you can send directly on YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever you're joining in from, because we would like to make sure that we capture everything, all the questions that you might have regarding the products and the panelists that we have on call today. I'll do a demo of the category in a moment. I'm just watering the ground for now. So one thing to mention about our category portal, this property maintenance category portal on PropTech Buzz, is it's not just a listing portal, because that's a mistake that sometimes people think, oh, okay, it's a place where we can find different products. It's not just that. It's also a place where conversations happen through contextual community. And the notifications go to everyone that follows the category portal. So if you're interested in this, if you've signed up to be part of this conversation today, you should follow the portal so you can get regular updates on what's happening in the industry or what's happening with the products that are being listed and launched today. So just give me a second. I'm going to reshare my screen and share the category portal so I can show you what it looks like. Just 1 second. All right, so this is the property maintenance category portal. And as you can see, I'll scroll down first. You can see the different products that fall under this category. So On-Call Pro, FixGrid, Lesson. By the way, this is just the first part of the launch. We are still going to have promotions across social media, across LinkedIn. We'll be creating articles. So there will still be more products being listed here as the time goes on. But if you're interested in finding out more information about property maintenance, you can see videos here as well. And then there are articles below. Oops, sorry about that. There are also articles below. And then, like I mentioned before, there's an AMA that's currently going on. So if you click on this, you can actually contribute to the conversation that's happening today. And any of the panelists can also still answer questions that people have in the conversation on the category portal today. So I'll go back to sharing the category portal, the deck, sorry, just 1 second. All right, so that's the portal. And we would like to appreciate a few people that have helped in this spiritual campaign. So let's give it up for On Call Pro, led by Sally Hamidi. They did a fantastic campaign. They have 10 upvotes now. Just like I said, this is live, so it's currently changing as we are going on. But it was 9 at the point of creating this. And they've received more than 2,000 views on their products page already. And being at the top of the category portal will continue to get them more eyeballs. So massive congratulations to Sally and her team. So we also have an award for the most engaged property maintenance leader. I want to raise a toast to George, founder of Fixed Grid, for being the most engaged founder during the campaign. I don't have to stress the power of founder brand in today's business. People trust people more than they trust companies. And when the founder puts their name, face, and voice out there, it humanizes the brand and it brings credibility and emotional connection. So kudos to George. He has contributed with more than 2 comments. So another interesting thing about this campaign is there's also a chat stream. So I've talked about the category portal, the products that are there, the conversations that are happening in the community portal, but there's also a chat stream that brings together all the followers of the property maintenance portal. So we are also going to be creating a private chat room for a network of leaders in property maintenance. And this is where you can stay connected and collaborate. So it will include more property maintenance CEOs, CXOs in the coming days. And unlike WhatsApp, this is a safe space as it doesn't need to reveal your phone numbers. The next 3 years, we are massively upgrading our chats experience. So please install the app. I would inform you 3 months, weeks rather, next 3 weeks. I said yes, sorry. The next 3 weeks. So we inform you when this upgrade happens. All right, so without further ado, we are transitioning into the conversation now. Today's live panel, we have centered around property maintenance. Evolving from the reactive firefighting mode we've seen in the past into a driver of NOI and resident retention. No matter how large, how big, how beautiful, how much money your property is making you at the moment, property maintenance is that lever that is tied to revenue. So if you care about your revenue, then you care about maintaining your property. Today, we're excited to have Sally Hamidi, founder and CEO of On Call Pro, George Health, I hope I pronounced that correctly, founder of Fixed Grid, and Sean Miller, Chief Revenue Officer at Lesson. So we'll begin with short introductions. I'll just put them on the screen and then they'll just give a short introduction before we dive into the conversation today. So we'll start with Sally. Sally, you'll come up very briefly, just tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit about On Call Pro before we start the conversation.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Sally Hamidi, and I'm the founder and CEO of On Property Technologies. We're solving the maintenance operations problem for the HOA industry. Maintenance right now is extremely fragmented. People are using emails, spreadsheets, phone calls, and we really decided to build something that connected everyone in one ecosystem to create the infrastructure for maintenance. So really excited to be here to talk more about the platform.
Thank you so much, Sally. So I'll invite George as well to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is George Hurlth. You were pretty close on the pronunciation. I'm the founder of Fixed Grid. I've been in multifamily maintenance for 20 years, been in the maintenance industry for over 30 years, and I saw a need to develop a integrated app that solved all of the problems versus the teams jumping through different platforms. And also providing a solution for the smaller operators. All the enterprise players have very robust tools, and I wanted to provide something at a cost level that smaller operators as well as enterprise operators would be welcome to. And that's what Fixed Grid is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, George. And then we'll also have Sean. Please just come in and introduce yourself as well.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name's Sean Miller. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Lesson. Lesson is a property maintenance and capital projects platform. We work with residential and commercial clients to sort of help drive specific outcomes through our technology and our field services. We've been around for over 6 years and have done over 40 million work orders in our time and work with large clients on both the residential and commercial side. So very excited to be here with the other panelists and help launch this category.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we can have everybody up on stage now. Awesome. So the conversation is going to go this way. We'll start with framing the category, and then we'll talk about our different products and a unique value proposition. We'll talk about some customer experiences that we've seen. We'll actually go into demo videos. So if you're listening, you're a property manager, you're a multifamily owner, you're in HOA board, whichever one it is, and you would like to see what these products look like, what the demo looks like, please wait for that. It's going to come in between the conversation. And then after that, we'll talk about the future of the category. So we'll start with framing the category for the conversation today. I'll start with Sean. Sean, you've bounced around PropTech, water centers, comms tools for trade, smart property platforms, and now you're running revenue for a company doing 40 million work orders a year. You've called this a $1.5 trillion market that tech barely touched. So how do you define the category today, and what exactly changed to make it investable?
Well, Amy, thank you for reminding me that I'm getting older. When I saw the notes, I was looking. So I've been around PropTech now for 11 years. I started in 2015. Wow. So I've seen the IoT side. I've seen software. I think the good and the bad about PropTech as a category is that it's very easy to define at a high level. It is, as you said at the beginning, the technology layer that's really trying to help modernize and change real estate owners and operators and even the residents and clients who are in them. How do you improve the experience and the outcome for all of them? The nuance comes in how you define the sub-verticals and the lanes from there, right? There's data, there's AI, there's software, there's a bunch of things into it. So I think the good news about the categories, it's very easy to understand and enter it first. And then the magic and the nuance sort of comes when you figure out what is the area you need help from in your organization, because there's a lot of options out there today. What I think's made it more investable since 10 years ago is you've actually seen startup businesses become real businesses, so actually produce profit and be successful for investors. I think you've also seen some existing legacy businesses move into the category, change how they're doing work to sort of adapt some things you'd expect when PropTech was new, where a bunch of startups were bouncing around and sort of help drive innovation also. And so from that now, as an investor, you can actually see not only a path to a return, but a path to return because owners and operators can actually see a true ROI from the products that they are that are available out there. So I think that's what's really helped bring this category to where it's at today, like a different level of maturity than where it was when I started 11 years ago.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And I think maybe in the course of the conversation, we'll actually talk about what the numbers look like in terms of ROI. But thank you for that insightful start. And it's so interesting because this panel is full of people with so much experience. So Sean was talking about 11 years. Sally, the next person I'll be introducing, I believe is 25 years. Am I correct?
20 years in HOA and maintenance, yes.
20 years. So that's a very long time. So you have 20 years in property management and HOA specific credentials. So why does that world get treated as a footnote for multifamily when it's actually a totally different problem? Talking about property maintenance now.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I come into this space with, as I mentioned, 20 years cumulative experience and just being on the field as both a stakeholder, as a property management company owner, having done that for 15 years, and then seeing the issues on the maintenance side, being a vendor company executive. There are a lot of disconnects, and I think the HOA industry might get treated as a footnote to multifamily only because from the outside, they look like residential property conglomerates, but operationally they're completely different, and they have to be treated with different workflows. So that's what we decided to solve for this industry, this particular vertical, because it's so underserved, with really good consolidated maintenance automation platforms. I think, as I'm sure Sean and oh my gosh, I forgot your name already. Oh my gosh.
George.
George, thank you. It's so small I can barely read it. As they'll attest, I mean, in multifamily, you typically have an owner or an ownership group of residents, and relatively centralized decision-making structure. And so that makes the operating and the asset lifecycle and operations behind that very, very different, a little bit more streamlined. In an HOA world, the management company, obviously, they don't own the asset. It's a community that they're managing on behalf of the volunteer board of directors, their stakeholders like other homeowners, their governing documents, budgets, approval thresholds. So that changes everything about maintenance for HOAs. And most property technology out there really isn't designed around those complexities. And so we really wanted to build a maintenance infrastructure for this vertical that's designed around the way associations actually operate.
Thank you so much, Sally. And I like the fact that you're focusing on that vertical, talking about associations. I believe the way that George solved this is a little bit different. So I'd like to get his perspective on this topic specifically. So, George, you built Fixed Grid Solo because industrial CMMS software never fits apartments. Where's the value for you? The moment the ticket opens, or the moment a lender asks for proof if it's ever closed?
I was muted, I think. Sally, I feel your pain. I've never worked in HOA before, but I've watched it from 10,000 feet, and it's a different world, a much different world. But anyway, for Fixed Grid, the value in Fixed Grid is the knowledge gaps. Multifamily, for what it is a very high turnover industry. Who's the service manager in 2026 may not be the service manager in 2027. Everything that they did in 2026 is gone, right? And the closing those knowledge gaps and integrating the compliance, right? Because it's heavily regulated through either life safety or elevator inspections. You have your local jurisdictions that have their own nuances. And a lot of the tools out there just are tickets and turns, right? Or they might do inspections and tickets, right? And I think the value is getting everything into one place like a true CMMS does in industrial maintenance, right? You go to a factory, they have a platform to where if you flip a switch here, it tells you what it's going to do 2 years from now, right? Multifamily doesn't have that. It's not integrated into the actual bones and the structure of the building they're maintaining, and what do they need to do to maintain it, and how do we extend the asset life? How do we, and especially in today's market, you're not getting the new deliveries that you did 5 years ago, and extending the asset life is extremely important. At this point in time, right? It always is, but it's a lot of focus on it.
Thank you so much, George. I'm going to switch tactics a little bit. I want us to talk about the products. So we'll just move around and talk about our products, our unique value propositions a little bit. I'll start with Sean again. Aiden's scoring vendor proposal and flagging patterns before a manager approves anything. Can you give us a real moment where it's changed a decision and it didn't just summarize one? And if you give some context to Aiden as well for people that are listening.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, Sean, you're on mute. I'll just unmute you so you can start. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, George. Yeah, so Aiden is our name for in-house AI agent. We've built it over the past 18 months. It's built on those 40 million work orders I've mentioned we've done, right? So we're not just a software platform that say intakes work or dispatches work, but we also manage the people in the field and have a team of people who manage our project managers for the work being done, QCing the work, managing the time, expectations, budget. So what that gives us is a pretty rich data set of not only what was it actually when someone got to the field, how did they fix it, did it meet the client expectations? And so what Aiden does is look through those proposals and can flag certain things. So let's say you have sometimes someone in the field maybe looking to get something done, doesn't put a complete note in, lumps certain things together. We know certain ownership groups love to have certain transparency, like George mentioned, depending if it's an owner or a lender, there's reports that have to be generated. And if you don't have the right data in the system or delivered to the client, you're just creating downstream headaches. And so Aiden can look at, all right, we saw certain data come back. We need more information. It can see certain work was proposed that wasn't needed based on the work we originally sent them out for. It also does QC work. So one of Aiden's first use cases, that was a fun one, we called the green pool scrub. When we had people out there cleaning pools in homes and apartment buildings, they had to take a photo. Everything when we're out in the field, our platform allows us always to digitize stuff via photos or videos and tours. We'd ingest the photos, and Aiden would see pre-photos, post-photos, and also had access to all photos submitted beforehand. And so it would know if someone submitted a photo where the pool didn't meet the quality standards or tried to submit a photo from the last time they did it, it could catch all that. And again, real time flag the person in the field, say, hey, I need you to go back and fix this. This is not going to get approved at its current quality. So we've since grown Aiden across that entire work stream of how it's touching both the affiliates in the field, our in-house team, and clients to manage expectations and better deliver the right outcomes.
All right. So it's not just Aiden, though. I think there's another product that you have, Contrarian One. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
So think of One as our software platform that touches everything from, again, that ingestion, triage, dispatch, project management, QC, and back. Aiden's the AI agent that lives within One and is touching all those different components.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I think what you built is really robust. And I can't get to the parts where we actually do a demo video so everybody can see how it really works. So I'll switch over to Sally now. Your whole pricing model is a jab at Angie and Home Advisor. Vendors pay only when a job closes, not for a lead. Why did that matter enough to build a company around it?
I actually was surprised to see this question because I wouldn't say we built our company around disrupting Angie, Thumbtack, or Home Advisor. We really built it around a problem I personally experienced firsthand, which was the economics between property managers, vendors, technology are often misaligned. And vendors are constantly being asked to pay for leads, for access, subscribe to another platform. And none of those things necessarily mean they actually are going to make money or are going to, score the deal. And we really wanted to flip that model. I mean, these are stakeholders that are helping managers handle and maintain trillions of dollars in aging infrastructure. So we wanted to flip that model and say, if the vendor doesn't win, we shouldn't win either. So really, rather than selling a contractor the possibility of work, our system is designed to connect them to actual maintenance demand inside the property management portfolios. And these are, as I'm sure you know, pretty high value jobs. And that's why it's a little bit harder to get in with HOAs because it takes a particular kind of vendor who really knows these larger assets and how to maintain them. So our economic participation happens when real work happens inside our platform. But what's more important is what happens after they get the job. We're not just handing them a lead and then disappearing. We're actually tracking their performance metrics, how many recalls were caused, time to respond, things like that are really meaningful to build on the other side of a vendor directory that's really curated for the managers who are relying on highly vetted companies to do this work. And we're also connecting the entire transaction from really that first opportunity to dispatch and field execution, communication, documentation, payment, all of that. And so fundamentally, that's the difference between a lead marketplace like Angie or Thumbtack, Home Advisor, versus a maintenance ecosystem. And what's even more compelling about our platform is that we've launched a native field service management software on Field Pro that connects them live to a pipeline of jobs and project opportunities. So very, very different.
Awesome. So from what I'm getting, there are two products on Property Technologies. There's On-Call Pro and then there's On-Field Pro. So On-Call Pro is the manager-facing side, and then On-Field Pro is the vendor or technician side. All right. Thank you so much for that insight. So I'm going to be switching to George now. Thank you so much, Sally. I'm going to be switching to George now. So you've been upfront on your own sites that FixGrid is a one-person operation. What does that buy a customer, and what does it cost them?
So what it buys them is they get the opportunity to work one-on-one with the person who actually built it, and a much easier and much smoother onboarding. The other thing that buys them is, especially for the smaller operators, because I'm one person, I had to build out a self-guided setup to where, if you're a small operator, you have 50 units or you have 100 units, you can sign up, you can walk through your entire property setup on your own. You don't have to get on a call with me or have me handhold you through the process. It was necessary on my end to keep things going. And of course, we're always here. I'm literally an email away to help them work through it. The cost, in all clarity, might be a little bit slower response time. If they reach out to me today, right now, they might not hear from me for a few hours, or might be tomorrow. There is some slow response there. I'm not saying weeks. I'm saying a couple of days. But there is. I'll be very upfront. I'm a one-man show running this, so there would be some delay until we build up the team behind it. Another thing that it buys them is the ability to be part of the development of FixGrid, right? Especially our earlier founding companies, as they onboard, they can help put the tools they actually need. I think we've covered everything beyond what anybody would expect, but there's always opportunities to grow and develop, and they could play a hand in that as well.
Thank you so much, George. I just want to ask another question so you can give some more insights to FixGrid. I was looking at your website, and it very boldly says one system of record from the 2 a.m. tickets to the lender's binder. So that really caught my attention. I want you to talk a little bit about that. I also know that there are some features around your product that allow technicians to even do some communications without having access to the internet, I believe. So if you can talk a little bit about that. Offline is what I meant.
No, absolutely. I'll take the offline one first, because I'm maintenance first, and the whole reason FixGrid was founded is because I know there are smaller operators, I would say sub 500 units, that they're still working on Excel spreadsheets. They're taking down work orders by notes, right? And the maintenance teams are working off paper. And in today's technology, there's no reason for it, right? And I started it to develop a entry level software that the smaller guys could get into, and getting into the offline maintenance. They rarely have connectivity on their devices throughout the entire property. Whether you're working on a garden style that covers 60 acres, or you're working in a high rise and you're down in the bottom of the garage, or even on the top floor, you lose signal. So the offline, you could take every single task that the tech can do, take it offline, meaning they can download it to their device. Whether they have signal or not, it doesn't affect them. They can do everything they need to do, and then as soon as it's completed and they get signal again, it syncs, and then it updates the record, and whether it's completed or just updated, it automatically syncs. And then we also have a reconciliation page to where, like, if you have two techs working on the same ticket, or the two inspectors working on the same inspection, or two PMs, two people grabbed the same PM and performed it. You can compare them side by side, as many as you want, right? It could be 2, it could be 10, it could be 20, right? And you take whatever they find on all those tasks or work product, and compare them and combine them all into one. And of course, everything that was done stays part of the record, but then you create the primary inspection that surfaces for everybody. From the 2 a.m. to the lender, one of the major problems within any tech solution is the data gaps. Right? You can build the most robust, which FixGrid is a very robust maintenance platform, but it's only as good as the inputs. And that starts with setting the property up, right? If you don't build the building profile out the right way, what the lender or the ownership groups on the end in the reporting, it's not accurate, and everything in between. So we call out all the data gaps. If a question isn't answered, it's surfaced in everybody's face until that question's answered. It's very pushy and very deliberate about calling out those data gaps just on building the property out. And then on the inside, there's services built into it that monitor it, and we'll call out, hey, this PM wasn't done yet, right? And we're, instead of looking through a list of 100 different PMs or inspections, there's a service built into it that says, hey, this isn't been done yet, or this PM was just done a week ago, but they're changing filters again. Why, right? It surfaces all that for them, closes all the gaps, whether it's data or actually performance. And then we do have limited AI built into it that develops ownership reports. It looks at all those services built into the software, and surfaces a executive summary, and helps identify those gaps in data, or gaps in asset lifecycle, gaps in tickets and PMs and inspections, whether being done, whether they're being done right, and tracking all that. And we've done everything we possibly could to actually give an owner report that is accurate, and calling out and saying, hey, this air conditioner needed a lot of work done to it, but they've never done PMs to it. So, what's happening, right? You might want to look into that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
So just because of time, I need to transition into some other topics so everybody gets property managers, owners that are on the call gets the most value. So I'm going to be switching to adoption, customer examples, ROI, right? I want to start with lesson, because there are some really wonderful numbers out there on the website. It's a no-brainer to want to use Lesson to manage maintenance in my property. So there's some specific numbers like $80 per day units of NOI recovered when turns go from 20 days to 5. These are impacts that's making in the life of your clients that you're working with. I wanted you to give some examples, or maybe just one example that stands out of how people were able to, make a lot more from using Lesson for their properties.
Yeah. So I'll give you two. I'll give them brief, but I'll give you two examples. One from our residential side and one from our commercial side. They're fully managed clients that we work with slightly differently, but I think hopefully what you see is that at the end of the day, they're hiring us for the same goal, right? And that goal, how we stay aligned with clients, is to focus on maintenance, right? To bring a level of professionalism and focus that they may not themselves want to invest in it or have the time to invest. Is hearing George's story about being a one-man show, right? George has to prioritize all the time. Entities have to prioritize all the time and understand what are the things I'm going to do that drive the differentiated value for myself, and what are the things I farm out, whether that be software or external vendors. And so we like to help clients focus on the total cost to maintain an asset, right? Not the cost per work order or other things, but how do you manage that total cost to maintain? So one client on the residential side is Invitation Homes. If the listeners don't know what Invitation Homes is, it's one of the largest single-family REITs out there. They own and manage over 100,000 homes. They're completely on our tech platform, so they use one across the entire org from start to finish. They use one to manage both work we do, so people in the field that we manage for them, but also their in-house techs are in one. So again, it's a system for them to manage everything. And then we build the rules in it to sort of, achieve the outcomes they want between the blend of those types of labor pools. It's done things like allow them, again, to focus on where they want to differentiate while we've been lowering their costs. Their numbers are pretty public, and usually if you compare them to other operators out there, they do a pretty good job maintaining these assets. We're able to surface things like George mentioned of, how do you think through reactive versus proactive? All that data lives in this system. So now they can actually analyze it, understand it, and make better decisions on how to manage those assets. And besides helping to reduce the costs that way, we've also helped them scale. If you look at Invitation Homes over the last couple of years, they've had periods of strong growth. If they were doing that all on their own, there would be a lot of hair pulling at times as they enter a new market, finding teammates, scaling up a team, replicating processes. Now they can go into a market there, we can cover it for them and allow them to really build the business they want with us as a partner handling the maintenance. On the commercial side, similar would be JP Morgan Chase branches. We handle about half of those in the United States. They're completely also on the tech platform. They do not have the in-house tech, so it's us doing all the work. The difference there is they have a maintenance budget, so don't take this wrong as they don't care about total cost to maintain, but their primary KPI is a client enters a bank, they want a certain experience. They want the temperature to look a certain way, they want the floor to be a certain way, and those KPIs are very clearly articulated. They hire us to go handle that, right? They want to make sure that experience is there for the client because that's what drives their business outcome, and that's what we're able to get behind and work with them to deliver. And they hold us very accountable to those KPIs. There are certain KPIs that if they are not held, hit Jamie Dimon's desk and an email could come over within several hours. No one at Lesson wants to see that email. So the entire team stays very focused on those KPIs and delivering, again, what is the client told us is the right way they want their asset managed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. I just wanted to mention that in case you're watching and listening to this and you're like, oh, I want to see what this is like. Shortly after this, we'll do a demo for Lesson, and then you can ask specific questions from the demo. Thank you so much, Sean. That was very insightful. So I'm going to switch to Sally now. Sally, can you take us through maybe one HOA management company that's live on OnCall Pro? What was the main difference that they've had from like week 1 when they got onboarded to like month 3? Just so people can understand what the value is here.
Yeah, absolutely. When we get management companies to onboard, we're always met with the same pain point, which is our managers are spending about 40 to 60 hours a month on just coordinating maintenance, triaging emergencies, getting bids, so on and so forth. And so our ROI for them is really giving back their time to do more meaningful work, which is building relationships with the clients and the HOA, which, you know, they're pretty demanding. It's not an easy job, and you know, let's shift the priorities and let OnCall Pro handle the maintenance operations as efficiently as possible. And so, really, week one looks a little bit similar. I mean, there is some onboarding time, especially getting the vendors that we're ultimately inheriting from these management portfolios to sign up, to engage. You know, that takes time. You know, we have to have webinars most often to train the vendors on the value and benefits of this platform and what connecting to us means, in that it opens them up to more jobs and project opportunities from other management companies in the same geographic location that connect to OnCall Pro. So that first week is really about understanding the vendors, onboarding, and also customizing the triaging aspects. Like I said, it's a very different world with HOAs. So you really have to be knowledgeable on how to address these nuanced workflows. One of them is preferred vendors. You know, we got to make sure these work orders that are being automated are being sent to the right vendors, that the maintenance contracts are all uploaded. From there into week 3 or 4, they're going from having to orchestrate everything manually to seeing our system start operating things with very little human in the loop, because we've customized and programmed the system exactly as they had it before, except this time they don't need to pick up the phone, 16 times a day and call people. So that's really the difference.
Thank you so much, Sally. And also, OnCall Pro will be demoed in a few minutes, so just stick around so you can see how this works live. So my question now to George would be, a maintenance team that's been running on text messages and a whiteboard has a paper, they usually have a paper backup, and they usually keep it running in parallel with a new system until they actually trust the system. In your experience, how long does this take, and what particularly with FixGrid makes that moment flip where they completely trust the system to do this?
So they can feel comfortable using it almost immediately. It's built to be very intuitive. It's not a guessing game of what they need to do when they get in there and the tasks that they need to take care of. It's not a guessing game of where they go to take care of certain things. They will trust it immediately, and if they don't, everything is saved as everything that they do, whether it's a ticket, turn, PM, inspection, anything that they do. They can, they're more than welcome to, they have the ability to download it and save it as a PDF or print it out and put it in a binder if they want to. It kind of goes against, the data still lives within the software, but that ability is there for them. As far as the site teams wrapping their arms around it and embracing it, almost immediately. I leaned on more of and it was kind of a pain point for me when I was in the field, lean more on a consumer level feel. So they feel like they're in an app that they would, download and play a game on, and not that it's that, but something they feel more familiar with and more intuitive versus the flat SaaS that's typically pushed out to them. So that they will feel extremely comfortable as soon as they jump in there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.
So we're going to transition now to the demo videos. But before we do that, I just wanted to show the category portal just one more time, just in case you're just joining us and you haven't seen the category portal yet. This is the launch for property maintenance on PropTech Buzz. And we have these 3 products with extreme experience in the industry, showing us what you need to, how you can, make your property maintenance more predictive, less reactive, and make sure there's retention with your residents and all that. So I'm going to share my screen again. I hope you can see it. Yes, so this is PropTech Buzz's property maintenance category portal. You can see the conversations that are going on here. Would like you to drop your questions if you have any questions to ask our panelists today. There's also the products pages here. You can click on the products page. You can go directly to their website to find out more information. There's a video here. We're going to play the video, but you can always go back here and watch the video again. And then you can also drop some questions. You can see what the reviews are from companies that have used these products in the past. And then below, there are informative videos, there are articles, and there's also a buyer's guide that you can download directly from here to get more information about this category. Aside from this, there's a chat stream where conversations can keep happening, where you don't have to feel like your WhatsApp number or your number is exposed. It's very safe, and it's just so you can bring everybody together and we can drive adoption within property maintenance. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and then I'm going to start by playing FixGrid's video so that George can build on his last comment, and then we'll take it to OnCall Pro and then Lesson. So FixGrid first.
I built FixGrid because after 20 years of multifamily maintenance, I never found a system that actually gave field teams what they needed when they needed it. We were always fumbling through a handful of apps just to close one ticket, so I started with the basics. Tickets, turns, assets, then solved for what the field teams needed on site, what ops needed to run, and what ownership needed for proof. One connected record, that's FixGrid.
George,
All
I
right,
love
so-
the music you chose. So emotional. I love it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, what time you wanted to speak to that? So there's a question I want to from the video we got. So I'm just going to paste it in the chats, and then I'll read it out. I think it's quite long, so I think it might break into 2. Just 1 second. All right. So the question says, the system suggests a vendor and the manager clicks to create a work order. Is this matching a recommendation the manager approves, or can it auto assign And what stops a manager from overriding it back to their usual guy every time?
The system suggests the vendor and the manager clicks to create the work order.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I mixed that. I think that question was supposed to be for On-Call Pro. Let me just, 1 second. I'm just going to reshare the question. And I think when Sally does hers, she can answer this question. Okay, so the tech app works offline, job queue, parts, history, all without Signal. Why was that a day one requirement rather than something you would add later as a later feature?
Quite honestly, I have the experience knowing that it was a requirement for the service team or the field team on site to actually embrace the tool. One of the big pain points for the field teams is Signal, and if the app or the solution doesn't solve for that up front, they're not going to adopt it, and then that's where you start introducing data gaps, right? If the service tech's out there working on a ticket and they don't have Signal to enter their parts or the job queue, go to the job queue and download the ticket, take it offline, be able to enter parts, history, and all that without Signal, they're not going to use it. I can tell you straight up that if your tool does not work offline on day one, the techs won't use it. And then your ticket data, your service tickets, it might get done today, but they might not close it out till next week when they have time to sit down at the desktop, right? And then the information you're getting is not accurate. So it was a requirement for me on my project when I was planning it out that it was one of the things that ships like on day one.
Awesome, thank you. And so I'll play the next video. Let's see, just 1 second. So that'll be On-Call Pro. The question is there. So after the video is done, you can just answer the question that was sent in.
Are you a property manager or maintenance vendor? Tired of juggling 5 logins, chasing people down, and drowning in follow-ups? Your tools are outdated, your tech stack is a mess, and your time? It's gone. Introducing On-Call Pro, the first ever platform made for both property managers and field technicians. For managers, On-Call Pro centralizes your entire portfolio's maintenance and creates a new revenue stream for your company. It automates maintenance tickets, matches and dispatches your favorite vendors, tracks overall building health, and eliminates the need to chase invoices. For vendors, On-Call Pro is your field service tool and marketing engine in one platform. You can manage your team, win steady jobs with existing and new clients, and you only pay us when you've completed a job. No more fees for cold leads. With On-Call Pro, you only need one login and one dashboard for real-time updates. Say goodbye to chaos and hello to more profit. Built by industry professionals with over 25 years of experience in property management and maintenance for all the people working in the industry. Ready to streamline your field and office operations? Book your demo of On-Call Pro today.
It's quite upbeat music this time around.
I'm gonna use George's soundtrack next time.
Sally, I wanted to say that when I started looking at on property, you are what Angie's List was supposed to be, right? I'm old enough, I'm going to date myself. When it first came out, I was a contractor and I signed up for it, right? Until they started charging me to get cold leads, and I bailed out of it. And in all of our industry, we are facing a vendor shortage. It's not, the vendors are holding the cards now, and the more vendors we involved in the process of contracting and bidding, the better our prices will be. But there's not like there's a million plumbers out there anymore. There's very few. So just wanted to share that. Yeah.
So true. Thanks, George.
Thank you so much, George. All right, Sally, do you want to help out with this question?
Okay, system suggests a vendor and the manager clicks to create the work orders. So it's matching a recommendation the manager approves, or can it auto assign? And what stops a manager from overriding it? So we do have automations built in, and that's part of our efforts putting the system together during onboarding. We want to make sure we populate the preferred vendors as much as possible, so that the system doesn't mistakenly assign another plumber to this building when they already have a contract with this person, or send the wrong HVAC company when they already have a maintenance contract with another company. So those are some of the nuances that we've programmed into this. So yes, while it can auto notify the vendors, it's still up to the vendor to respond in a timely manner. So we have SLAs built in where, if they don't respond, we have backup vendors who will then step in, especially if it's an emergency. We want to make managers understand that if this person or this company doesn't respond, are you okay with the system going down the list and picking other vendors? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. The only time the human in the loop happens is when there's no vendor, and then the manager gets notified and they can then override the system and assign a vendor. But we're trying to avoid those edge cases, if you will, in our system. And for the most part, it's been very accurate and consistent. So we're really proud of that.
Thank you so much, Sally. So we'll move to the next video. We're just very conscious of time right now. So we'll go to lesson, and then we'll take the question from the audience after that.
Somewhere between your first work order and your last, the day got away from you. A turn pushed another week because your team didn't have the right parts. A recurring job that never made it off the whiteboard. A vendor confirmed and never showed, and your resident told you before anyone else did. Your residents remember every missed appointment, every unanswered call, and each one cost you their trust and cost you their renewal. It's not that your team isn't trying. It's just that without the right system, the work falls through the cracks. Lesson 360 is that system. Every work order, every asset, every vendor, every dollar. In one place in real time. Connected from the moment a request comes in to the final invoice. So when something breaks at 11 p.m., you know. When a vendor goes quiet, you know. When a resident submits a request, they feel it move because it does. Not because your team worked harder, because finally the platform works for them. Lesson 360. Every part of maintenance, one platform, so the day doesn't get away from you.
All right, that looks really good as well.
Dramatic. So 2 of us went for the dramatic music, Sally. I think.
Yeah, really Hollywood style soundtracks here. I love it.
Maintenance is chaotic enough. I wanted to tone it down a little bit.
It's beautiful.
All right, that's great.
If I can really quickly, you asked me about our tech, and that video mentioned Lesson 360. So just not to cause any confusion. One is this huge platform we have. What we've done over the last 2 years is start to pull parts of one out for clients who say, hey, listen, I love your software, and maybe I want to hire you for some work, but I don't want to use your fully managed solution. Lesson 360 is the front end of one. So think intake, triage, dispatch. Then we have another standalone product called Lesson Pro. That is more the vendor software. So when they're in the field, how it manages. So again, trying to meet clients with where their needs and pain points are, and not trying to sell something that's just not what they need at this point.
Awesome. I think this is a great way to transition into this question because it's more on the resident side. So it says your intake filters as requests that don't need a technician. So what does that look like, or what does that feel like from the resident side?
Yeah, so these can be simple. These can be filters that, again, based on each operator's rules, is something a resident responsibility or not? Is it if it's an after hours call, is it truly something that in a truck at 4 a.m. or is this something that can wait till the next day? So those types of filters on the front end. Then, again, Aiden's going in and also trying to do certain things. When we see certain intakes, for example, someone may say, hey, I see water on my roof. The AI agent can then ask a few intelligent questions that help us deduce, is this maybe from a storm that happened last night? Is this maybe a water leak? All that type of information helps us drive a higher first-time fix rate and higher resident satisfaction, which again helps drive retention. So just how do we get better information on the front end so we can solve the problem more efficiently on the back end?
All right, thank you so much. So this is a moment where we're now going to speak about the future of property maintenance, especially where you're investing in your roadmap and stuff like that, so people can know what to look for in the coming days with Lesson, with FixGrid, with OnCall Pro. And by the way, these are just one of the many products. Like, for example, Sean mentioned that there's several products in Lesson, there's several products in On Property Technologies as well. So I'll start with Sean, just so they can build off your last point in your conversation. So you sit on NMHC and SIA advisory boards. You are watching this from the standard side too. 5 years out, does proactive maintenance become mandatory the way energy compliance did?
Yeah, so I hope so. If you would have asked a younger 11-year-old, younger Sean, that was the vision of IoT back in the days, was how do we get the data into the system, into people's hands, so they can shift reactive to proactive, right? There's so many benefits to doing things proactively from cost and, again, experience standpoint. The challenge, I think, has been early days of IoT, there just wasn't enough data to make the owners and operators feel confident that you're going to actually roll a truck for the right reason and not roll trucks too many times. I do think that data set is growing now. People are starting to see the case studies and understand it's possible. There's also just, let's call it, like George mentioned, preventive maintenance programs, right? There's also just more and more data coming out of people who have done PM programs for years. How is their, pick HVAC, how's their HVAC cost shifted versus people who haven't, right? And it gives people more of the confidence that spending a little bit of money today actually saves me money tomorrow. So yeah, in 5 years, I think there'll definitely be more proactive maintenance happening from just the large amount of validated data and the systems that are helping to bring that data to the people who can make those decisions in real time.
Awesome. I guess that's good news.
Yeah.
So I'll move to Sally now. So Sally, if OnCall Pro wins, what does a mid-size HOA management company's maintenance operation look like in 2030 that it doesn't today?
Well, right now, as I mentioned, they're spending about 40 to 60 hours of their time chasing vendors, updates, triaging, and by 2030, all of that's going to go away. We're going to see the systems orchestrating things autonomously. We're going to see predictive maintenance. We're going to see a consolidation of data across portfolios that move between management companies, even between platforms, even. And those are some of the overarching changes that are going to happen specifically in the HOA industry, where visibility is really critical and timely execution is really critical. And these are stakeholders that are overseeing, essentially making decisions on other people's homes. And so they need to have data-driven decisions made easier for them. So that's going to be the shift there in this vertical.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sally. So my question to George will be, you've built FixGrid because your old software never knew what apartments needed. 5 years from now, what does a maintenance tech never do by hand again? And what's actually left for the human with the wrench?
I think I answered this in the AMA. Optimus is probably 5 years away from actually doing cleaning tasks in the buildings. Probably 10 to 20 years away from actually performing maintenance. So what the maintenance tech does in the field or what the vendors do in the field does not change in the next 5 to 10 years. They're still going to be there, turning the wrench, doing the actual act of the maintenance. What does change is operators' ability, like Sean was mentioning, see that if I spend $10 on preventative maintenance, it's going to save me $10,000 in asset replacement, right? And it's also going to give them the ability to see more granular. In the next 5 to 10 years, they'll see more granular where their manpower is being allocated. There's a standard in the multifamily world. You get one maintenance person per 100 units. It doesn't apply to every single property. You might have a new property that lease ups are a beast in their own, but once it's leased up and stabilized, you have a 2 to 3 year period there where do you really need one per 100, where you have another property down the street that you own that's been 20 years old, they need one per 50, right? Putting your manpower and labor and work hours where it's actually needed and being more deliberate about delegating out the work and more efficiency. So to answer your question, 5 years from now, what does the field tech see? They're actually going to be doing something productive and extending the asset life with what they're doing, and they'll probably not be stationed at one property anymore, right? There'll be more centralized maintenance. It'll be a larger opportunity for ownerships to centralize their maintenance because they'll have that insight on what's going on in their properties.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been a quite innovative conversation. I also think there's been some synergy amongst the panelists. I don't know. I just think maybe there's some connections there. I don't remember. I could ask, when was the last time, you came together like this, working, solving problems in maintenance, but in different ways. But it's a great way for you to come together and show how you're doing this in a different ways that you're going about it. I just wanted to mention for everybody that's listening that this is just one part of the campaign. You'll be seeing more about FixGrid, more about Lesson, more about on-property technologies in articles, in the reels, in the videos that will be going out. Just like I mentioned before, there's a chat stream so you can engage in conversations. We don't like the conversation to start and just die. So those conversations can keep going on. So you're welcome to that. I'll just share my screen one more time to show the category portal. So everyone that's here can go to proptechbuzz.com, can go to Marketplace, Kick Property Maintenance, and then you see everything that we've discussed here. You can explore the products as much as you want. You can click on them. I'll just click on each of them. So you can see that. You can click on them. You can go to the website. You can watch the videos again if you maybe want to see some more insights in the videos. Yes, so you can engage. We encourage you to engage with the products and also be a part of the conversations that are happening in the community section as well. There's a buyer's guide here in case you want some more information about what to look for to reduce maintenance costs and all that. And everybody that follows this category portal will get what's new that's happening in the category as the days go by. So thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to Sean, Sally, and George for being a part of the conversation. And we will see you next week for the next launch.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.